Well, good morning. Welcome back to our ongoing session on emotional intelligence. So, in this class, we are going to discuss about three important concepts: emotional intelligence, mental health, and well-being. So, we will try to bring out these concepts in the sphere of three different environments in our personal life, what we call at home, and what is the application and interconnections of these three concepts in the school environment, how it affects students' behavior, student-teachers' behavior, and how it affects the whole classroom atmospheres, and also we look into how this affects our work related behavior in terms of job outcomes. So before I go into details about these three concepts, I would like to show a small video clips that will summarize how emotional disturbances affect human behavior at workplace. This is what we call the unpredictable behavior of
This is the last time. This is the last time. I have a life too, you know. I'm tired of you stringing me along.
What's going on with Oscar? I think it's about love and passion. Someone needs to find out what it was about. For Oscar's sake.
Yeah, for Oscar's sake. That does not sound like a sincere apology to me, and I do not accept it. No.
This is about you having an outburst in a public space and not telling anyone why.
Yeah, it's messed up.
You know what? I am so concerned about Oscar's well-being that I will give $100 to whoever can tell me what that call was about.
There is a bounty out for information on your tirade. And if you wanted to share it with moi, I would split it with you. $25 a piece. Hey, Oscar.
Get out of here, Kevin.
I just wanted to say that you seemed kind of angry before. Is everything okay? Want to talk about it?
No, get out of here!
Kevin, I'm eating. Shut the door.
I'm just trying to talk to him.
Guys, there's someone else in here.
Disgusting.
Are you crying?
I'm in the bathroom! Look, if I wanted to talk about it, I'd talk about it with my friends. None of whom work here.
Listen, you. I am so angry at you. I can't even. Can I tell you mine? Will you tell me yours?
No.
Oscar, hey.
Hey.
I heard you got a cool new phone. I'd love to hold it and just see how it feels.
Okay.
What? It's password protected?
Yeah, that's an option.
Cool.
Oh, his email account is open.
Search for an affair.
Business affairs.
Okay, be more specific. Search illicit sex. What are you doing? Oh.
I'm not a part of this.
Why are you looking through my things?
Those are my car keys.
Really? Looking for your keys in my drawer?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Get away from my stuff! I am juiced up from all this intrigue.
Yeah, that's exactly the situations taken from my office that happened just now. You saw what is happening to this guy. You just imagine a workplace where you are working and people all around you are behaving in such manners. What will happen to you? So this video summarizes the unpredictable behavior of people at workplace. These are nothing but the expression of unusual emotions. So what do you think about it? Is it a sign of one's emotional intelligence, low level of emotional intelligence, medium or high, or a very immature type of emotional intelligence? So it seems that all these people who were reacting, outbursting, or bullying at others, or reacting at others, maybe they are losing the sense of how exactly they should behave at workplace. So when you talk about in terms of health and well-being, how do you relate to this situation? Say for I would like to quote one more examples. Let's begin with mental health, an introduction. So although mental health has been defined by many people in many ways, so to me the mere understanding of mental health is just like the harmonious growth and development of one's personality. How balanced is your personality to deal with the everyday demands of everyday life. But say for examples, you are upset at home, you are upset at your home due to a conflict with your partner or kids or any family members. So you know that you love all of them, so you could not react the way you should, and then suddenly you left for office, and then you left for office. So when you reached your office, suddenly you find an empty glass on your table. Empty glass on your table. Then you rang the bell. Call the peon, and then you blasted him with lots of anger, outburst, disgusting feelings, etc., etc. with heavy reactions. So just imagine how would be the situations thereafter. Then suddenly the peon goes out of the scene, saying too many things to himself, talking to engaged in a lot of self-talk. What a man, what gone with this man, there must be something wrong with this person at home. So that's why, so in the process what we are actually doing, by reacting without any fault towards the peon, we are making our day full of anxiety, tension, stress. We are creating a climate of frustration, so which causes the whole atmosphere full of anger, dissatisfaction, etc. So in the process you are spoiling the day for yourself as well as for other colleagues at home. So if this kind of behavior continues, probably the man will be mentally sick or psychologically heavily disturbed after some time. So that creates indications that how a person should behave at workplace and what should be the mental state of affairs, because as you all know that our psychological state carry forward towards a day for our work. So that is why we are trying to study it, not only our work perspectives, similar kind of things also when we deal with disturbed children in our classrooms. Suddenly you will find very many intelligent persons and displaying very unusual behaviors which is not good for the classrooms. while the teaching is going on, you will find some people are talking to each other, some people are chatting on their mobiles. So this kind of behavior, unwanted behavior, is a sign that the student is not in control. So his behavior is not in a right shape. So what would be the way out? What could be the role of emotional intelligence in bringing that behavior into classroom situations to make him effective in his academics? So these are some of the things that also happen in some other situations, like we earlier discussed. Like, could you relate the mental state of this person? He is exceptionally intelligent as far as sports is concerned, but what went wrong with this person that he displayed such kind of behavior? Can you imagine that even a person who is highly intelligent would be regulated, will be exceptionally good in his performance in his related activities, could display this kind of behavior? So some people say even intelligent people can display stupid behavior. This is also another, a person who is engaged in continuous talking and exchange with some people with full of tension, anger and anxiety. This is definitely not a good state of mental health. This is also happens in our everyday life, husband wife conversations. So say for example, early morning you get up having a cup of tea over the tea tables, but suddenly a hot argument starts from there, and see, the rest of the day is well known what will happen after this. So people often say that deficient emotional skills may be the reasons more than half of the marriage ends in divorce. It's not only it will lead to only divorce, but forget about divorce. If you think that your family is first priority, but your family will be full of disturbances, will be full of turmoil as far as the psychological climate is concerned. So it's very much important to understand the concept of emotional intelligence, to discuss whether emotional intelligence contributes to mental health and well-being, and also to project the applications of emotional intelligence in the promotion of mental health. So as we all know that these are three important theories that talks about emotional intelligence. So the ability model talks about EI consists of four important characteristics, while the personality based approach talks about it is a coping skills that one needs to master to deal with the demands of the environment, while Goldman says there are some star competencies required for effective performance at workplace. And there is another theory which also comes under the mixed model of emotional intelligence, where Cooper and Sabaf says that emotional intelligence is the ability to sense, understand, value and effectively apply the power and acumen of emotions as a source of human energy, information, trust, creativity and influence. So the idea is here there how to master the human emotions by controlling, by regulating and effectively managing. If we can master on our emotions, that will be the source of all human energy for leading towards creating trust, creativity, influence and confidence on others. Maybe after that we will be able to excel in our respective fields. So these are few concepts. They are related to our everyday affairs. When you talk people or compare people in terms of their smartness, we say some are smart people, some are dull people, some are just average people. So what is that makes a person smart? What are the criteria that we talk some people are smart versus dull? Any idea? Maybe one of the marker may be confidence, is not it? Anybody who express himself confidently, clear expression. Yes, good presentation. Anything else you think that it's a, even people say a person who is well dressed also, thoughtful, thorough understanding of the topic, thorough understanding, while dull people are afraid of facing others, afraid of talking to others. That means low confidence, unclear ideas, confusion, poor communication, unable to express, so these are some of the important markers that makes a person. So when we talk about EI, there are 4 important measures that emotional self-awareness, emotional expression, and emotional awareness of others. So these are 3 important that creates the emotional literacy base, is very much important for management of emotion. A person who is able to express himself, unless until you understand others' emotions and your exact state of affairs, what at the right moment what is happening to you, are you comfortable, are you going well with yourself, are you not in a discomfort zone. So this kind of assessment will make you sure that whether you are going to express certain things confidently, correctly or not. Emotional expression, are you really true to your emotional expressions, or are you faking? Are you authentic to your expression, or you are manipulating? So if you are manipulating, you cannot hold it for longer time, but if it is expressive, authentic, it will be expressive, spontaneous and enduring. So that is why accurate emotional expression is very important at the time of making any kind of presentation or making any kind of interaction with outside world. At the same time, you also have to understand the perspective of others, what is happening at the right moment to others. The way, suppose you are making some presentation, what is the impact of that presentation on others? Could you imagine it, what is happening to other people, looking at their face, their reactions, their response? So if it is really impacting them, then there will be discussion, questions, interactions, etc. If it is not there, so that is why when you ask questions in the class, is that clear to all? So if you find that there is no answer at all, either you perceive that there is no clarity at all, or people understood it all. So this is how we take things into granted. But when we talk about, is it emotion that makes people intelligent, or it is intelligence that makes people smart? So I can say that it is a combination of both. When you intelligently express your emotions to others, so that makes a better presentation, and that makes a person to be a smart person. But at the same time, even smart guys, intelligent guys can fall trap of their own emotions if their emotion is not in a good state. So that is why we often say that it is not that how good you are thinking, you can only think good when you are feeling good. So because we all know that good feeling leads to good thinking, and good thinking leads to good actions. So that is why emotions always affects human thinking, human behavior. If you are feeling very bad at the right moment, say for examples, like when you ask my students, why did you come late? Certainly the student says, sir, I was feeling headache. So just imagine a little bit of mood swing. You suppose simply you say, sir, I was not feeling well. Even some people also call me, sir, I am not feeling well, so I can't come to the class. So just imagine a little bit of mood swing can make you to decide to bunk the class, not to come the class, or a little bit of mood swing can disturb the whole day. So what does this mean? Little of mood swing. You are not in control. That means you are not in control of your emotion. You are not in control of your emotions. So that means it reflects emotional instability. Or you can say emotional turmoil, like the way we observe what is happening in that video clips. And yes, this will also affect your coping skills, unable to cope with the situation. Because as you all know, that coping is very much important to survive under stressful conditions. So when you are trying to cope with your stressful situation, say for example, you got up from the bed and suddenly you felt that severe headache. So how far you keep on coping with that headache? That will decide the rest of the day whether you are going to be engaged in any kind of activity or not. So yes, if you are not able to cope with the situations, and that aggravates, that creates continuous stress, tension, anxiety, etc., that will impair your health, that will impair your emotional health, your psychological as well as your physical health. If you are not emotionally stable, you are psychologically disturbed, and once you are psychologically disturbed, that will create so many psychosomatic disorders. I hope you understand psychosomatic disorders. Starting from simple tension, headache, nausea, vomiting, etc., indigestion, constipation, etc., and as you all know that these are related to directly to our all endocrine systems that will affect other areas of our life, like that will create severe stress affecting the thalamus, hypothalamus, etc., and it is seen that it will affect the whole nervous systems and may be causing cancers. So most of the cancers are caused by that. So 50% of cancers having grassroots in human stress, and that is how it is directly related to human health and happiness. This is where emotional intelligence plays a very important role. The scientific journey begins in a study. In fact, this was taken from one of the book that was written by Shiroshi Chan, Caputi and Roberts, 2001. In their book, The Emotional Intelligence in Everyday Life, a Scientific Inquiry, where they try to establish the interconnection between emotional intelligence, life success and good mental health, high positive affectivity, low positive affectivity, and high self-esteem. So they also try to project the overall interactive model of how life events affect human life. Out of that, how it disturbs or affects our adaptation process, and that adaptation process decides the life outcomes. Say for examples like mental health, relationship, work success, success at schools, physical health. But if during the adaptation process we can nurture emotional intelligence, say for examples like perceiving, expressing, understanding and managing our emotions accurately, probably that may lead to better product of our human health and other work related activities. And in fact, since then there are many other research have been carried out in the field of emotional intelligence. Like in the earlier class when we were discussing about the impact of life events, where we measure that how negative life events influences the quality of human lives, how daily hassles affect our behavior, creating tension, stress are both at work and home. And once these emotions are controlled by creating or developing better awareness about how to perceive, express and understand emotions, probably that will lead to a better results, a better life outcomes. Yeah, this is one of the findings taken from Barron's. This was published in the Barron's manual, EQI manuals, where Barron's tried to project the relationship between emotional intelligence and coping strategies. The overall coping seems to be very positively related. If you look at the task coping, emotion coping, avoidance coping, but in case of emotion focused copings, the EQ seems to be negatively related, while the avoidance coping also seems to be negative. But as far as the task related copings are concerned, so the overall EQ found to be very positive. Another study also reflects that emotional intelligence and personality have positively related. This was published in Journal of Personality in the year 2014. So this study summarizes that emotional intelligence negatively related to neuroticism. So it means that people, those who are high on their emotional intelligence, are likely to manage their anxiety, stress, tensions better. While emotional intelligence is positively related to agreeableness, people are very outgoing, conscientiousness and openness. So these three variables are positively related to emotional intelligence. So this shows that emotional intelligence positively influence human personality. So these are some other findings also published in Barron's EQI manual that shows that how emotional intelligence is related to self-actualization, a concept that often relates towards the optimum achievement of human needs and desires. In this study, they tried to relate that also emotional intelligence positively related to or positively influence or predicts happiness, optimism, self-regards, social responsibility, problem solving ability, assertiveness and flexibility. This is an overall model where they try to see the role of emotional intelligence in performance anxiety and interaction anxiety. Okay, so these are some of the overall scientific studies that they show that how EI is important in restoring human health and well-being. When we come back, we will try to examine how the specific emotional intelligence abilities are related to different other areas of human behavior such as anxiety, tension and etc., and how these emotional intelligence abilities are affecting the stress management processes. Thank you.